purpose of this training is to give basic knowledge and information about ergonomics and how you can apply it at work and at home. We'll also cover how making minor adjustments to how you work may help you go home with more energy and less aches and pains. Ergonomics is the study of how people perform their work. In your job, your body is the equipment used to do manual handling of the product. The way we use our body mechanics will greatly dictate how our bodies will feel at the end of the day, the end of the week, or even the end of your career. So the question is, how can we best position ourselves to reduce the amount of stress put on our bodies to avoid injury and reduce pain? Some of the answers may include downstacking the product, pivot your torso when picking product instead of twisting, and so forth. It will be difficult to eliminate all risk associated with the job, but there are some simple things we can do to make it better. It may take forming new habits. So bottom line, ergonomics is trying to fit the job to the person, not fitting the person to the job. The first thing that we should do to eliminate pain and reduce risk of injury is something that we've been preaching for a long time. That is to warm up each day prior to your shift and throughout the day. We've asked Mandy Sanchez, a prevention specialist and a physical therapist from Ergonomics, to give us some pointers and tips on how to stretch and how to perform some of the duties we do on a regular basis.
So while you're working all day, whether you're on the forklift, driving a truck, or throwing or catching a truck, there are three main stretches you can do throughout the day. The first one you should do is you should stretch your hamstring, which is right in the back of the leg. What you can do, you just put your heel up and you lean over and you can hold it for a count of 30 seconds. You can do this while you're in between getting on and off a forklift. You can do this in between on and off your truck, and in between throwing and catching. So another one you can do, you're going to stretch your pec muscles. So you're just going to interlace your fingers behind you and pull them back. Again, hold it for a count of 30 seconds. And the last one you do, you're going to stretch your wrist flexors right here. So what you do is you press your hand flat, and then you hold it for 30 seconds. You can also place it against the wall and hold it for 30 seconds there for a more intense stretch. If I had to pick three stretches that you could do throughout the day, these would be the ones.
Prior to starting your shift, there are a few things you need to do before starting picking. First thing is to take a brief walk around the pick line and identify potential hazards or unsafe working conditions, such as housekeeping. Make sure that loose product, trash wrap, cardboard, and all those things are put back into their place. Make sure that there are no trip hazards with the floor mats. Make sure there's adequate space between pallets and the conveyor, and other things that could lead to trip and falls or other hazards that could injure you. When we talk about ergonomic injuries, we are really referring to work-related musculoskeletal disorders, or WMSDs. These are disorders of the muscles, nerves, tendons, joints, and spinal discs. They occur as a result of months and years of overuse of the tissues, such that they become sore and sometimes unusable. Thus, WMSDs are not instantaneous events like a slip, trip, or fall, or the pain you may feel after you return from a vacation or new to the job. Those pains are generally from not using the muscles for a period of time. This is called work hardening and is normal aches and pains. The WMSDs are injuries that begin with a hassle, eventually leading to pain, and ending with a work-related musculoskeletal disorder after years of overuse. Another way to think about work-related musculoskeletal disorders is to think of your body as a bucket. As a result of performing your job and other everyday tasks, drops of trauma start filling your bucket. There is also a healing valve that lets some of the trauma out of your bodies through good circulation and a good night's rest, or allowing your body some time to relax. Unfortunately, sometimes the healing valve can't keep up with the amount of trauma dripping into it. When that happens, our bucket may overflow, resulting in a work-related musculoskeletal disorder. We will now talk about what causes ergonomic type of injuries and what we can do to help prevent them. There are three recognized factors that increase our risk of developing work-related musculoskeletal disorders. These are force, frequency, and posture. Each of the risk factors are explained briefly here. Force, for example, refers to how much you push, pull, lift, and carry while working and how heavy those items are. For example, pushing carts or a pallet jack to a customer location, or lifting a box from a pallet. Force is also applied to opening trailer or dock doors. If the doors are out of alignment, more force is applied. The next one, frequency, is the number of exertions one performs, or can also refer to the duration of each exertion. For example, unloading product from a conveyor repeatedly, or picking product from a sustained period of time. The posture refers to the alignment of our body segments in their joint range of motion. Reaching overhead to unload stacked boxes, or twisting your torso to throw product instead of pivoting your body. Poor posture while stacking pallets can also be an issue. Keep in mind that each of these elements has an effect on the other two. For example, the amount of force that our bodies can generate depends on our body posture. It also depends on frequency with which we must perform a particular task. Here's a couple of examples of solutions. Wait for a dock to open up instead of pushing a loaded pallet jack through snow or poorly surfaced parking lots. Use the best posture possible when on the pick line. Don't twist your torso, but pivot your feet and keep your back straight. Downstack products that is too high to make it more manageable and safer. And report slightly damaged dock and trailer doors before they get worse and someone gets injured. One of the three main risk factors for work-related musculoskeletal disorders is posture, because posture is often the first thing we focus on, mainly because it has the largest impact on the development of work-related musculoskeletal disorders. It's easy to see, and it's easy to correct, relatively speaking. As we go through this training, we have a hit list of items that we want to review to make sure that we are doing it the proper way, and the way that will reduce the risk for injury to back, shoulders, knees, elbows, and so forth. Of course, the first one on the list is twist and shout. This means that sometimes when we pick product, we twist our torso instead of moving our feet and pivot and placing an object on the conveyor. This is one of the most critical and one of the most common problems that we see in the warehouse today. So, what does good look like using the proper posture? Notice here, the back is straight, the feet are pivoted, making for a safe lift.
Hi, my name is Phil McKee. I'm the foreman at the Manassas, Virginia branch, and I'm going to show you the improper methods of lifting. The first one is twisting with your feet planted. And this is called twist and shout.
When looking at this picture, what are some of the risk factors that you see regarding the risk triangle? First, you can see that there is a lot of force being applied due to the stack and the weight of the load. And second, you can see that the posture is poor. The neck is bent, the back is twisted, arms are extended, elbows out. Causes great concern for an injury to happen if this is done repetitively. So how do we improve this situation? Let's take a look. By cutting the stack in half and moving it twice, the posture is greatly improved, the force is greatly reduced, and the likelihood of an injury occurring by using this method is almost zero. We have experienced several accidents from using the first method, carrying too much product, and twisting and turning, causing back injuries, shoulder injuries, and even broken wrists. This may be a new habit to get into, but it is a habit worth doing to save your pain and back and shoulders from injury. You will also find that after you get into this new habit, it does not take more time to do it this way than the first way.
So when you're stacking boxes, you want to make sure you use the think technique, T-H-I-N-K. First one, T. You want your toes and your nose to go in the same direction. One toe is pointing to where you're getting the box from, the other toe is going where you're putting it. The next item, H, you want your head and your chest to lead, so you want to keep your head and your chest up. The moment you crumple over, you're going to be compromising your back. For I, you want to increase your base of support, meaning your feet are going to be wider. This is going to make you more stable when lifting and stacking boxes. And you want to keep a neutral spine. So meaning you don't want to be bent too far forward or bent too far back. You're going to make sure you contract your abdominals, and this will help give your back some support. The last item, K, is keep items close. You want to keep items close to your body until you're stacking them down. This will also decrease the strain on your back.
Every time we bend over to pick up something, we apply 2 or even 3 of the triangle risk factors. Those would be posture, force with the weight of the object, and frequency if we're doing it for a long period of time.
Alright, the second method I'm going to show you is the butts up method. As you can see that my knees will be locked as I bend down.
Some of the common everyday things we do to put us in this type of position include bending to load items onto a pallet or cart, handling empty pallets, handling dock plates or lift gates, bending to lock trailer or truck doors, and even chocking truck wheels. So what can we do then to reduce or eliminate some of these hazards? The best answer is to make sure that you bend with your legs and not with your back, keeping your back as straight as possible, and make sure that you pivot your feet instead of twisting your torso when placing a product. When we are young, we naturally lift the right way. Something happens later in life to get us out of that habit. Another element of the risk triangle from force is picking product using this pinch grip to grab the plastic. Of course, when applying the other 2 elements of the risk triangle, posture and frequency, the risk of injury becomes much more possible. So what do we do to eliminate or at least reduce the risk? Grab the case in its entirety instead of doing the pinch grip to grab the plastic. This gives you the best posture possible and also reduces the risk from the force. So what do you say, Mandy, as the expert?
Okay, so when you're picking up boxes here, the biggest thing you want to do is you want to make sure that you avoid this grip right here. It's going to be tempting to pick up the plastic with just your hand and then to throw it onto the belt. Now doing this over and over again is going to result in having some elbow injuries or even some wrist injuries. The best thing you can do, especially if you have to stack more than one at a time, get 2 of them together and then turn and put them down on the belt. You want to avoid throwing also, because throwing after a while is also going to give you an elbow, even a wrist, shoulder injury. So we're trying to make sure that you guys all throw the correct way. Now, will you get injured throwing the incorrect way on the first time? Probably not. Will you get injured on throwing the incorrect way a second time? Probably not. It's when you do it 2,000 times, 10,000 times over a 10-year time frame, you're eventually going to wear down your joints, ligaments, tendons, and even going to have some nerve issues. And this is what we're trying to avoid.
Another item on the hit list is when we need to reach for product that is too high, which is a very common practice. Common tasks that include having your shoulders too high include picking product in high stacks with some glued or other configurations, also from pulling down roll-up doors. While we work on more permanent solutions, what is the best way to handle this type of situation? One of the main things you can do, which is not a perfect solution, but is something, is to refrain from twisting your body. This motion causes significant strain to your back and waist. Approach a pick with your shoulders and waist square to the object you are picking. Keep your body squared and facing forward. This will reduce the amount of force used using the triangle and will keep your body in a better posture.
When you're picking items off a tall stack such as these Go Cups, the best thing you can do is try to down stack it. If you don't have the ability to do that, the next best thing is to have a step stool. Hopefully the step stools are strategically placed throughout the line. If not, this is something you and your crew can talk about. Now when you're going to go up, you want to go up and try not to pick more than 4 at a time, and then step down. The biggest thing is you can carry more than 1 box at a time, you just don't want the box to be covering your face.
Is horizontal stretching. As you can see, I'm overstretching to reach this product.
Another item on the hit list is the horizontal distance. The farther you have to reach for something, the more pressure it puts on your lower back, shoulders, and elbows. You will notice that this position actually consists of two of the portions of the triangle for risk. The posture is poor, and the force it requires to pull in the product is another issue. And if you include the frequency of the times you do this during the day, the risk factor is fairly high. Whenever possible, move to the product and bring it in as close as you can. This will reduce and even eliminate the issues with posture and force. You may need to move a little bit more and go to the other side of the pallet or the back of the pallet in order to do this, but it is well worth it.
Alright, Mike Quigley, Dave Foreman from Manassas. I'm going to demonstrate unloading the pallet and putting it back on the stack.
There is no doubt that you have a very demanding job, but as we discussed in this presentation, we do have some control over some of the elements of the job, such as body posture and positioning. Also remember the think process when lifting. T, toes and nose to go in the same direction that you are facing. H, head and chest are to be kept up. I, increase the base of support, wide stance. N, keep your spine in a neutral position, not too far forward or not too far backwards. And K, keep items close. Remember the three risk factors: posture, force, and repetition. If you can reduce any one of these, it will help lower the risk of injury. The goal of this presentation is that each of you use these tools and methods that we've explained today so you can go home without pain and enjoy the things you enjoy doing outside of work.